It's your intellect once again. So we are now venturing into our advanced level history questions that are related to the Seni people. So please enjoy.
This is our November 2011 history paper 1. Saka panapa iri kunzi zvoni. Examine the validity of the view that although the Sun were backward, socially and economically they were progressive in some respects. So the term respects, it means the aspect. So the question demands the candidates to agree on the fact that although the Sun were primitive, they had other elements, economically and social, which proved that these individuals, they were civilized. So in these aspects now, which point amati mukuda? Achaziye kwandaisa maka, mambona kwandaisa maka? Alright. Mati pari kudachi? Mukuda point ye religion. Would you explain? Neibi? Ne buried the dead. Nechi? Nyanda maga. Alright, sagapana pataguti sus. The Sun, though they were backward, they were progressive in certain elements. For example, socially, the Sun, they can be proved to be progressive in the fact that they worshipped what they call God Kagen. It was their God whom they communicated through their ancestral realms. So this proved that these individuals were civilized or progressive. Why? Because the religion is still practiced even in our today's society. Religion is one of the major impacts, and these are the individuals who introduced the issue of worshipping of God, which was even practiced by the Bantu-speaking people. They worshipped God through the ancestral spirits, and it is the practice they inherited from these individuals. So they are progressive in their aspects in terms of religion. And then to bury their dead. The same they used to bury their dead in order to respect, and they pay homage to each other. They console the bereaved in their practices. And this is one of the major elements which is being practiced by the Shona-speaking people even today. People, they bury their dead as a way to respect their spirits. Because by burying the dead, it is a method which can also be used as a way to show respect to and as an aspect ekuzoti pane life after death. So the issue of burying the dead, it brings out the ideology that there is a life after death. That's why they bury these individuals. And this aspect is still is part of the belief which is still practiced in the Shona or in the Bantu speaking societies today in Africa. Saka it means these people were progressive because vakatanga chinhu chakaramba chichita se chichienda umberi. Then ukada kuuya kana kuti ukada kutsvaga issue yetrade, the same they practice barter trade. Their practice was progressive. Why? We have witnessed good even in the Ndebele state, even in the Rose state, even in all states that progressed after the existence of these individuals. They used to practice barter trade as a form of buying and selling. Even today, trade is still being practiced. Barter trade chairiko. Why? Ukaenda kumusha iwe unozonzi kana mchida kugaisa mgomo wechibage chipewo gaba 1 padenga. Anoziya kana musina mari. Why? Because mari kumamisha inotinetsei. Mukaenda nehuku kwa baba ningi va fishbonga, mukaenda nehuku imi mukumba kwe fishbonga nhasi, anogona kukupimirai pamwe hove dzinoenderana nehuku idzodzo. Barter trade yatoitwa and it is still practiced. Mamisha chako katoenda izvezvi murodhi medu muno muchitungwisa unonzwa chinzi kuchinja mapotato nehembe. Handiti why that barter trade uchamupa hembe yauchati hauti hauide obva ati inoenderana nemapockets 2 emapotato wotomupa iye unoritengesa kwacharitengesa juziri pamwe nemari imwe anotengana kana kuti anonodirisa chibagi patoitwa barter trade. Then ndoma issues acho. Then kuno social we can also prove that the same were not progressive in their aspects, which means these individuals were not civilized. Yeah, affirmative side. For example, they had no permanent homes. These people, they were nomads. They moved from one place to another. The fact that these individuals, they had no sense of belonging to a homestead, zvikuratidza kuti vanga vakadhakwa, vairarama like animals. Unlike in this today's society, people, they have permanent homes. And to prove that this was a backward way of living, moving from one place to another. Yekuti vaishandisa animal skins as part of their clothes. Animal skins, they were not reliable. Alright, but they were not reliable. And these were not, it was not a reliable method. You cannot hembe dzadzisiri chinhu chiri reliable chekuti ungatoti hembe dzekupfeka nhembe chinhu chakanaka. Nowadays we've got a variety of sense of fashion. Andikona tine zvakawanda zvatinopfeka, tine hembe dziri nani dzinoti protector. But like nhembe dziya dzaingovhara kumberi nemumashure kudenga uku waifamba wakashama. So the type of clothing that they practiced was very primitive. Unlike as we are comparing with the type of clothing that we have. Muntori ne type dzehembe dzakasiyana siyana. Then touya pama economic aspects, these individuals, they had no inventions in terms of their economic aspects. For example, they based their economic system through hunting, which means if animals could be affected by pest and the outbreak of diseases, they were going to die of hunger and starvation, which means these individuals were backward. Unlike in the following societies that existed after them, they showed that they were civilized. For example, in Mtapa State, irrigation was introduced and it is still being used even today. These are the society which proved vanga vari backward because vakatadza kufunga other means. And vaishandisa stone tools which were inefficient. But afterwards, by the introduction of iron, from early iron age up to computer age here now, we are now having better, efficient weapons. But these individuals, they failed to invent iron. They failed to look for other methods to tsvaga hapi tools are more specified than ati now. Saka vachi backward. Andika, ndoma issues acho. Kana pane point yamunoti iri kunetsa mutaura. Land degradation, but these people, as they were moving from one place to another, they were cutting down trees. And they had no toilets. They polluted the environment. It is part of land degradation. And they had no methods of preserving the environment efficiently. So they were backward. Unlike in our today's society, we are now having good and methods to preserve now the environment. And ndo pari kubuda aspects acho. Imwe kana pane imwe iri kunetsa. Patrilineage zvinongoreva kuti the society belongs to the male members. So these are the individuals vakatanga nayo method pahistory yedu isusu. These are individuals who brought the idea kuti kingship is hereditary. And it is still practiced even today. Kugreat Zimbabwe zvaingoitwa kumutapa, zvaitwa colonial era kupi nanhasi. Even in our today's society, in our indigenous culture, one cannot be a chief by voting. The chieftainship is obtained only through bloodline with the male members. Zvakazotongointroduced yazo zvekunzi female, but societies patrilineal. Uyontosanene senemu yababa wako aumbodedzwe senemu yekwamai vako. Rather mai vako vanotodedzwa senemu yababa wako. Anozati mukadzi akaroorwa anotochinja senemu akachata. Zvakatanga navo futi. Hande kumbe kana pasina, here we go. Don't know that. Dr.